Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from Kiss 106 alongside my tag team partner in podcasting, the $1 billion princess. Say hello to Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll say it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Is this for skipping out last Wednesday?
Sorry. It's because that's what the McMahons want. They want an apology, and I will apologize for skipping out on Wednesday. I'm sorry. So just say it. Becky, just say it.
I have to say it for Thursday and Friday because I was the reason Thursday and Friday. But you, Jer, were the reason we couldn't do it in our regularly scheduled time slot.
I know. I ruined everything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well,
see, was that so hard, Becky? Did that really need to wait 3 hours?
Well, also, you know, while we're getting started, let's just start right there. I thought that was a very reasonable request of the heels. Like, here's what happened. Let's look at it from a real life point of view. So, someone who already had a concussion not too long ago in real life just got attacked and needs to go through normal medical protocol to have the biggest, what's that?
And refuses.
Yeah, and to have the biggest match of her career. She says no and attacks her boss for having her go through the normal requested protocol. And then she decides to go ahead and get the medical testing done. And the bosses are like, okay, that's great. Just apologize for beating the living crap out of us, and you're good. And she has to think about this for the entire length of the show. And I'm over here like, wait, who's the heel and babyface?
Damn, I love wrestling.
Right, it's just wrestling.
I just love wrestling. You're right. Can you imagine coming in, slapping the hell out of your boss and not saying I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's the thing. And not only that, they're like, okay, you can come to work tomorrow. You just need to apologize.
And it wasn't even a big apology. I kept thinking, and then later in the evening when old man McMahon shows up, I thought, oh, they're going to bring back the Kiss My Ass Club. They're going to make her kiss someone's ass is what they're going to do.
Oh, they're not going to have a girl kiss a guy's ass.
They might have had her kiss Stephanie's ass.
Maybe. This is 2019, pal.
2019, there's no Kiss My Ass Club. So that didn't happen, but she had to think about it a lot. And then Triple H and Stephanie say, cool, they're good. And then the old man gets the old take-backsies, gets a case of the take-backsies and takes it back. Suspends her anyways, 60 days. We don't need this, Vince.
Well, let me say,
I mean, that was a bombshell ending.
I've got two points to make. The first one you're probably expecting. The second one may be a little more surprising.
Okay.
The one that you're expecting is for someone who's been forecasting this is going to be a three-way since 2018. It's looking pretty good.
I mean, I don't think anyone's arguing with you now. I don't think anyone's going to or would have even last week. I think we all see it coming. I hope it's a huge swerve to a one-on-one, but now I don't know how they'll do that.
That's my second point is I actually think it was done so over the top last night, and I'll get to what I mean by that in a second, that it might be a swerve. What I mean by that is Vince was being his ridiculous heel over the top self, which is not that
10 out of 10 McMahon.
So it's the 12 out of 10 McMahon. And then, but here's where it differed was Charlotte was also being a bit over the top heel. And that was the first time in a long time that we've seen that. I feel like when they did it on SmackDown, they were a little bit taken aback by how negative of a reaction she got, that she was caught off guard as was management. And now they are like, she is a heel. People do not want her in this match. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to give it to us, but I'm just saying you can go either way with what we saw last night, that it either helps or hinders the three-person main event.
I think, if anything, it really kind of helps at this point. Everybody wants it to be Ronda and Becky, But now it's all setting it up. This reminds me of the Daniel Bryan angle. This reminds me of Stone Cold stuff. This is the typical McMahons are going to screw around and screw you over. And then when you're victorious, it's going to just feel so freaking good. And I think that's where we're headed with Becky Lynch. At some point, she's going to not only get the match, but she's going to win at WrestleMania. They made Raw. I thought it was cool to have Ronda and Becky standing in the ring together, both not being happy with the whole McMahon and Charlotte thing. Like, I thought it was really well done last night.
Okay, so I'm not going to disagree with you here, even though I think the report that I pull up gave it like a D. I was okay with it too. What I do want to say is, and we can come back to...
They gave it a D. I don't know. I didn't read where you go. Tell me what your opinion on this. Do they give it a D because they don't like that they're putting Charlotte in the match? Is that what it is? Is because the segment itself is good. They might not like what's being written, but how it's being presented, I thought was done really well. They just don't like the result.
I don't know that that's what they're saying. I don't think they usually grade like that, but I don't know. I'll compliment. I mean, I don't care what their opinion is. I have my own opinion. If I cared about other people's opinions, I would have said I hated the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Right.
But I didn't.
Because the thing I look at gave it a B+, and I actually agree with that a little bit.
That's it. That's more where I am. I like that it was a bit logical. Like I said, except for her not apologize, like I said, but I know we need to protect her and not make her, I
Sure.
get it needs to be a struggle. And it had little pieces throughout the night. That's the way I like my storytelling to unfold. I don't have any real complaint about the segment other than the absurdity of, them asking for an apology for something that they clearly deserve an apology on.
Fantasy book for a little second?
Sure, go ahead.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, if they're going to insist, and it seems like Triple H is going to insist that his involvement in WrestleMania is going to be with this match and the main event, and he and Stephanie and now Vince, I wouldn't mind to see Triple H and Stephanie came out and said, apologize and you're in. She apologizes. They shake her hand. She's in. It seemed to me like they were shocked by what Vince did too. I wouldn't mind seeing like a Triple H going head-to-head against Vince here. Not in a fight, but you know what I mean.
I think that we're going to find out it was all cohesive.
Got it.
That's what I took from it. I'm not saying that's what it is. I think we're going to find out that they were working as a threesome. So there was that. I thought I had another point about that. But yeah, so I still don't know what the destination is, if that's going to be a 3-way main event at Mania. But I will say, kudos. I didn't think they'd get this accomplished ever, let alone, in 2019. But I really feel like this will be the deserved main event heading into WrestleMania. We still got 2 pay-per-views to get there. But, I mean, this is the only thing that's turning me on right now.
I mean, I am so in on this. I'm also in on Daniel Bryan to a lesser degree, and I'm in on Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar right now after last night to a lesser degree. But this is the number one thing. This is the WrestleMania main event for me. This is the angle I care most about, and they've got me dying to see this fight. Okay, so I feel like Seth and Brock is valid. I think it's a little invalid to say Bryan right now because we're always into Bryan. We don't even know. We don't have any idea where he's looking for WrestleMania. But that's why I say I'm into it. I'm still into it because I love him and his intellectual peer Rowan, and I love him and his intellectual peer out there, and I love the belt. And I think he's going to keep it. I'll just lock in right there. Because why would they take that belt off of Daniel Bryan right now before WrestleMania? It just seems silly to me. It just seems like a grab bag, though, for who he's going to face at WrestleMania. And there's probably opponents that could make you upset. There's probably choices. So that's what I'm saying. Like, let's at least wait till we know what his direction is before we say we're in on it. But he's got me interested in general. Let me throw some ideas at you. Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. don't love it.
Right.
Don't but give him a second, because Daniel Bryan's making me love this whole vegan thing. I'm okay, and they're not going to do Randy Orton.
I'm just saying there's outcomes that you.
It's going to be Samoa Joe.
Hey, that'd be cool. I still think if I had to place a bet right now as to who Daniel Bryan is facing at WrestleMania, my bet would be on AJ Styles.
Well, if they do, I hope they finally put on the match I think everybody was waiting for them to put on.
It hasn't happened yet, man. They've faced off several times, including on pay-per-view, and they have not delivered even a match anywhere close to what we've expected from them.
Right. I mean, Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles have both had better matches with Mustafa Ali than they had with one another.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Let me talk about Raw again for a second. Although I will say SmackDown, which we didn't cover, was a good show. Raw last night, it's what they call bookending or hammocking. I thought that you started strong and you ended strong, which is cool. Everything in the middle just sucked to me.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree with you. I care about you, and I tend to agree. But there are things that I would pull out that I did like.
Okay,
I liked the Seth Rollins promo with Paul Heyman. I really enjoyed that.
Fine, I'll give you that one.
Okay, I liked the Revival winning the tag championships.
That wasn't exciting to me.
It's a good match. That was a really good match. I'd like to see them on a pay-per-view with a little more time.
It was a good match with no feud behind it, and I just feel like we got them there because they complained about it in the back. Why? There's a pay-per-view on Sunday. Couldn't we have done it there?
Couldn't we have done it there? But that's a notable thing. I liked the match. It's one of those things where, like, if you go back and you just watch a match and you're like, oh, that was a good match. It was a good match.
Yes.
Didn't have a lot with it.
Sure. Yeah. I don't want to say it had no heat because the crowd did get into it eventually, but it had no heat for me.
And while I hated, there was something I liked and then hated. I liked what they did with Balor and Kurt Angle and Lio Rush and all those guys. I liked that for a minute. I really did. I thought the angle lock on Lio Rush was great. He sold that like crazy. But I didn't need the predictable 6-man tag after. Like, that segment had ended, and then they gave us another, like, 13 to 14 minutes of those 6 dudes.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't that happen twice in that match? Didn't it start as one thing, turn into something else, and then turn into something else? Well,
yeah, it started as Finn Balor and McIntyre, and then you've got Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley get involved and start beating up Finn Balor, and then Kurt Angle comes out, and then Baron Corbin comes out, and then Kurt Angle's eventual tag partner at the pay-per-view or at some point in time, Braun Strowman comes out, and it turns into a whole big thing there. And then they turned it into a 6-man match.
Am I crazy that I still think Kurt looks good?
I liked him last night, and I like it in this role, but I just feel like, why did they give us that 6-man match? Because it's a 3-hour show. That's why. Well, we didn't need it.
I don't think it ended there. While, I mean, it was okay with the Revival going as long as they did, because that was a very good match that actually did go somewhere. I thought the segment with that 6-man segment was too long, and
they took like 17 commercial breaks.
Well, and that opening match, not the opening segment, but although it was a woman-heavy segment, and then you go right into a really low heat, a really cold women's match. I thought, and that match was so long. At least
you could hear the crowd get iced over. They're all hot about Becky Lynch at the beginning. Having to apologize. And then Sasha Banks' music hits and nobody moves.
Literally while Becky's like walking out. I mean, you're right. You could feel the chill in the air. The crowd gets iced over. Man.
So I'll give you the 6-man stuff. There were 2 things I liked outside of the main stuff. I liked the title change. I thought that was a good match, and I liked the.
Don't think of it as the title change was bad. Don't think of that as my argument. Just think of it as the title change was a real missed opportunity that could have been so much bigger.
Right. Right. No, I agree. And then there's just so much other stuff like Elias. I don't know. There was just a lot of suck in there. You're right. You're absolutely right. And the one thing I like is that they're integrating a lot of SmackDown and Raw. Like, where's Charlotte now? And where's Becky going to be? They've been doing them a lot on both shows. I like that.
Yeah. I was going to say, I had 2 points that I wanted to make before we wrap things up. I felt like, why can't I remember the first one? Imagine how good Raw would have been if you could shave an hour off of it.
Absolutely. It's probably why I enjoy SmackDown most times.
Yeah, SmackDown, I feel like it's got the added benefit of being the shorter show. And then here is what I feel. This is the point I wanted to make earlier in the show, and I got lost up in myself for a second. Here's the real good test. I feel like this is the first time they're really being tested about if they're listening to the audience, because they came out in December and they said, we're changing the way we're doing things. We are listening to you. We're reacting to you. We're going to work on giving you what you want. We have made it abundantly clear. We want Rousey and Lynch one-on-one at WrestleMania. You've even gotten us to the point where we are excited about a woman main event at WrestleMania.
Which I was afraid they were going to just have to force down our throat like medicine.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, and you got me and Jerry there. You got, Mike and Steve there. Like you got the real post to post fans. Like we're as real as it gets. You got us there. Here's your test. Are you listening or are you still working on your own agenda? We've made it really clear we want it to be one-on-one. Fair?
Fair. That's what we want. And if it's not going to be one-on-one, you better make it creative the way there.
No, we want it one-on-one. I want it. That's what we want.
Hell or high water. Well, they're going to get Charlotte out of there now.
You can. You can get her out. Like I said,
there are 2 pay-per-views.
There's 2 pay-per-views, and like I said, it was so over the top last night that I almost feel like it's not their destination. But here's your chance, Vince. WWE, are you listening? Like you promised us?
They are listening to the point where like they're letting Becky be a face, because they tried to do just straight heel and that wasn't working. And everyone they put up against her was getting booed out of the building. So they know what they're doing.
This is the real test. This is the real test. They want the triple threat. The fans want one-on-one. This is your test. We're going to see if you pass or fail. We're going to find out April, 7th, 6th, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, they wanted one-on-one as well, but they didn't want Becky as the other one. They wanted they always wanted it to be Charlotte.
Correct.
This is the problem. This is the problem we've run into.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone thinks Becky's going to stay suspended for the 60 days.
No, she's coming in she's driving in on a beer truck next week. She's going to have a gun pointed at McMahon, and he's going to be pissing his pants in no time.
Bang 316 or bang the man or whatever. I don't know.
The man. I did like his line. You're not the man. I'm the man.
Hey, I'm not shutting us down prematurely. I know we missed some stuff, but I mean, we got the big stuff.
The only other complaint I really had was Dean Ambrose. They're just forgetting the last 3 or 4 months of writing, and they just have him come out and say hi to Seth and barely beat EC3. Whatever.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on. We played the out theme, but whatever. I thought that was kind of okay. You didn't know what Dean was going to do, and that's kind of what he is. He's a bit unpredictable. I thought, him coming out and giving Seth an honest, thumbs up, I thought was kind of cool, considering what Seth's position is against the Beast at WrestleMania. They're kind of like saying he represents the boys, and I can get over our beef for that.
But he was dressing up like Bane and trying to ruin Seth's life 2 weeks ago. Like, it doesn't make sense.
So you know how, Bobby Heenan was a heel commentator until the NWO came around. And then it was like, whoa, these guys are too bad for even me to go heel on.
Right.
That's kind of what I think this is what they're doing with Dean. It's like, whoa, I hate Seth, but Brock is an even bigger cancer.
the old Bobby Heenan. Those were the days where he was yelling, "Get your effing hands off me!"
I think that happened a little before the NWO, but yeah, those are the days.
Get your effing hands on me, and it was on TV.
Like it just even cheering for the NWO was too edgy for the Hill commentator in '96.
Mm-hmm.